Good evening. This is Animal on Control. Welcome to the voice chat. These calls are recorded for uploading to social media, and by joining a call, you are consenting to being recorded. Anyone wishing to join a call should email me at animaloncontrol@gmail.com, and I will reply with instructions. Today's topics: dog culture has to end, including VC comments. United Kingdom's XXL Bully ban and potpourri. Joining me, I have Johnson and B.A.D. What's up, dudes?
Yo!
Yeah.
Dog free day.
Yeah. So, I don't know where to get started. The one thing that came up was I had a few folks email me about this. And I'm going to start sharing. Okay. Can you see my screen? We're looking at my comments section. Can you see it? Guys, you awake? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. So anyway, so when I was doing the voice chat with Colleen the other day, I had this one person, in the text chat that comes up during a premiere, and also here, asked Colleen why she hasn't addressed the attack dogs in the White House. And of course, my response was, these calls are pre-recorded, not live. I don't know if I always make that sufficiently clear. Like today is Tuesday, well, at least on this planet. So this call is probably going to be posted Wednesday or Thursday. Today is, let's say it's Tuesday, September 26, 2023. So you're looking at an upload of tomorrow, the next day, and people will often comment like, hey, how do I get on this call? And I say, well, you need a time machine because it was recorded yesterday or the day before. I don't know if that's always sufficiently clear, and a lot of the thing with the call with Colleen was, I have a ton of respect for her, and we'd been discussing the call beforehand. I didn't want to, sort of just ambush her with this. And I don't really consider the White House dog thing to be that big a deal, even in this space, but I did want to bring it up. It is interesting, so we can discuss that today. Also, the XL Bully ban. I don't know if you two guys, I had posted a link to that Ian Price dog mauling death. I don't know if either of you have watched that.
Yes.
You did see that. Okay. So I wanted to discuss that. I didn't want to share it. Like I said, that was for consumption by insiders only. But we could discuss what was going on there. So in any case, with this dog culture has to end. I've had multiple folks contact me. I know at least one person posted this on the Discord, and I've had folks email me also, including some really old friends. But this came to my attention. It's really interesting. This was posted to in Mother Jones magazine, which is, I guess it's like nominally left-leaning magazine. It's not National Review. So and this Abigail.
I'm sorry
Weinberg,
about the dog barking. I gotta mute it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I didn't hear it. That's all right.
You don't hear it?
Well, that's the thing is, like, that's the problem. They're controlling the noise level in your space and not you. That's the problem. But in any case, this was actually in September 1st. This Abigail Weinberg posted this op-ed in Mother Jones magazine, basically regarding, the toxic nature of dog culture. So when I say that I hate dogs, I don't mean that I hate your dog. It means that I hate ill-behaved dogs I'm actually a little bit scared of them, and they can sense my nervousness. I don't know how she knows that. But what she's saying is, I mean that I hate dog culture. The relentless prioritization of dogs' needs over humans, and the suggestion that anyone who doesn't want their face licked by some oversized mutt is a monster. And that sort of sums it up. That is the TLDR of this whole problem. So, and the issue of our societal permissiveness towards dangerous dogs recently came up at work. And now I'm going to delve into something here. I really like to avoid partisan, political rhetoric or topics, because while this issue is political, it's not really partisan. But I'm bringing this up because many people have brought this to my attention, including people that I know are left-leaning. I believe Mother Jones is a left-leaning magazine. So you have a left-leaning pundit criticizing the current administration. So I think we can kind of go with this. During his tenure, President Joe Biden has brought 2 violent dogs into the White House, where thousands of people go to work every day. And I don't think I'm going to critique this. I think this is an overstatement. While the White House staff might be thousands of people, they don't all work in the White House itself. The White House itself has a staff of perhaps hundreds of people. So while this is an exaggeration, it's not necessarily wrong, but it's an exaggeration. As you know, I like to go through these things and deconstruct them. So last month, a conservative watchdog group released records showing that Biden's German Shepherd commander attacked Secret Service members 10 times between October 22 and January. In 2021, Major Biden, another German Shepherd, was exiled after his own biting spree. Okay, when my colleague Danae O surveyed Mother Jones readers about how the Bidens should handle the situation, I was baffled by the responses. Okay, so, and it gets into several responders suggested the commander must be able to sniff out Trump allies. Really, how many of those people are really in the White House currently? As if those people deserve to be savaged by, they say it's an untrained dog. It's just a vicious dog, trained or not. Okay, the notion that the dog is a reliable judge of character. This is assuming, let's say, Trump supporters are the worst people on earth. It's like, hey, you know what? Hitler was a dog person, okay? Dogs cannot judge human character. If you feed them, they like you. End of conversation. But, it's symptomatic of a dog-obsessed society. A subset, now this is I'm telling you, this is getting to the bedrock of the matter. A subset of our population genuinely believes that the dog is always right. That is why these problems go on and on. They say, well, what about that big pile of dead kids over there? Well,
Jesus.
Fido determined in his total awesomeness that was the good outcome. So, and this goes, on and on here. So I think this is but it gets into, I think the president should take a stand against this. This is not the only dog nutter we've had in the White House. I want to relate another case. I was I think it was, Teddy Roosevelt.
Can I interrupt?
Sure, go ahead.
This has been on my mind. ISD was saying it's not the dog owners, it's the actual dogs. Mm.
No, well, he blames both, and I do too. I agree with him, but he says it's like the thing is it's the income. Like, look, nobody. It's not like the Russians are threatening to nuke us if Biden doesn't have dogs in the White House. It's his choice to do so. That is why the dogs are there, and it's true with all these dog problems, even your situation. Like those crazy dog people you have next door, who is forcing them to keep those things there and create the cloud of death? They're doing
The
that
owners.
voluntarily. That's on at least partially on them.
They keep
um
buying them and buying them.
they keep buying them and buying them, but I think
Mhm.
one of them was, what was that? So
Biden
Teddy
and
Roosevelt
Biden.
Teddy Roosevelt had a pit bull, and I think did it like was it the French ambassador? Yeah, I think I think he panted the. Okay, here's what it was. Pete was the first President Roosevelt's dog. So in yet another incident, Pete tore the pants off Jean-Jules Jusserand. Okay, so he was the French ambassador of France, the United States. Pete got into repeated fights. So he tore the pants off the French ambassador. Okay. Pete got into repeated fights with another dog that would wander into the White House grounds. These fights left him with serious, even life-threatening injuries. So I don't know. I mean, was France like this huge threat to the United States? Was that why this happened? Um, so this was Pete was. Ugh, look at that ugly thing. And a lot of this is there's going to be doggy gander. They're going to talk about how great he was, but
Mhm.
so this is not the first time we've had this problem, and it's not necessarily a partisan political issue. Having a dog, I guess, is seen as being very presidential, but I recommend this Mother Jones article is very, very interesting. This writer gets to the heart of the matter, but what's really interesting about this is she is leaving. This is her, like, okay, she says here, this is my last day after many years of blogging at Mother Jones. I'll miss you all, and if you disagree with this post, you and your dog can bite me. So she's on the way out the door. So she
Good.
doesn't really care if if the dog, because all the dog people are just going to turn into foaming at the mouth rage monsters. But so she's sort of tossing a hand grenade over her shoulder as she walks out the door. This is really interesting stuff. But this came up the other day, and it's like people are saying, yeah, why don't you, grill her about this? It's like, I'm not grilling anybody about anything. But it goes back to the point that, like, look, these are pre-recorded, so if you have a question, you might want to submit it beforehand. So but this is a good issue to bring up, and I don't want to turn this into some big partisan political battle. But here you have Mother Jones is criticizing Joe Biden about this, so I guess it's a fair shot. If it were National Review or something like that, that would be perhaps be another matter. But everybody should read this article. It's really interesting stuff. So now they have both you guys in the call. Mr. Johnson, how are things going on your end? Because you were grilling some media folks. Is there been any updates on that front? How's that going?
Nothing much. I got a call back. I mean, I got an email back, as I told you, from that one guy that I went over loosely, and I finally got back in contact with him and let him know that I appreciated his comments and him shouting me out. that I would get into critiquing his article a little bit later. I didn't, give him my feedback on it yet. And no one else has really gotten back to me. They pretty much, they read it. I know they read it. And then that's it. I emailed a couple Indian chicks, a couple Indian reporters, and a couple American guys, because the Indian ones, they're just like, oh, dogs are so great. And, that's the way we have to deal with it. And they deserve love and food and all this shit too. And I'm like, I think, no, they deserve the death penalty. And, like I've been saying in all the chat rooms and everywhere, I'm saying, all dogs need to be tossed into the nearest active volcano. We cannot send them to the sun. I think that would cost too much. I think if we toss the volcano,
the owners need to be put in prison, by the way.
Well, who was it? You say you get the one person came back to you. I mean, refresh my memory because I'm kind of semi recalling this. Who was it exactly?
IHD. There's a guy named James who was advocating for dogs and how he believed that what was it that
Dave Wilson.
No, his name was James because I wrote it back. No, but basically what he was saying was that he was giving a real obtuse view on dog haters. Like, we respond because we're not getting the love that the dogs are, or we're not getting voices that the dogs are, or we're jealous of the dogs. And I'm all like, no, we're not jealous of them. We despise them not because they use the world as their toilet, but why don't you look at the statistics? I said, why don't you look at the statistics instead of making blanket statements? Why don't you go look at animal uncontrolled voice chats? Why don't you go check out IHD? And why don't you just type in I hate dogs and see what comes up? And he actually did the research. Like, I applaud him for that. He actually decided to look it up.
There's a reason why people are searching I hate dogs.
Yeah, there are. Yep. Well, that's the thing is that they, like I keep saying, and the thing is they never get it. Like they're just like complete knuckleheads about it because they refuse to acknowledge. And it's even, what Colleen and I were discussing the other day. They, meaning, our adversary, refuses to acknowledge that people have very, very personal reasons for being in this space, right? This isn't arbitrary or something that's done in the abstract. This is something that it is or has affected us in a very real way. And they don't get it. They won't acknowledge. Maybe this society at large will at some point. But
well, it's like something. We watch different people on YouTube and online. There's a rapper. His name is Willie D. He was one of the founding members of the Ghetto Boys from Houston, and he has a YouTube channel where he just talks about various other things, like all kinds of topics, going on throughout the country. And he made a very poignant point. He's like, sometimes people just won't get what you're trying to tell them. That's okay. But they shouldn't get an attitude about it. You shouldn't get all bent out of shape about it. It's like they always try to deflect. Like this dog. Like even before I started going on these voice chats, I was a mailman. I'm a cyclist. I'm a skateboarder. I've been approached by people's wild dogs for the longest times, getting stupid with me. But even before I started doing these voice chats, before I got really deep into IHD, there's these German Shepherds that are always barking. And I'm all like, why don't these dogs ever shut the fuck up? And that's what they do.
Look, dogs bark. It's what they do,
Mm-hmm. Said that, and it got on my nerves. It's like that everybody says the same thing. Why is everybody poly-period and everything? And so then I started to delve in to this world. My brother and I back east, we talk about it, and then he turned me on to IHD and Chef Muttley when she changed her name to Chef Big Dog, and then your channel, Animal Uncontrolled. And I'm all like, whoa, people feel the same way I feel. Yeah. People think the same way I think, and I'm not the asshole now.
It's funny because if you were a mail carrier, mail carriers hate dogs. In
Hate
fact,
'em.
it's my
Sure. Are you
understanding
sure
that
about that?
they have retirement communities for mail carriers that are dog free because they hate dogs. I had a buddy back when I lived in New Jersey who was a mail carrier, and and this was even before I got into this space. I mean, I was never really like a dog lover, but he hated him with a passion, and he had tear gas. And this stuff probably wasn't even legal. He had these like canisters of like, yeah, I think it was military grade tear gas. So when he was delivering, and these dogs like, "Rawr!" And he would blast him in the face with this stuff, like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr," and he would laugh. He thought it was so
And
funny.
it.
Oh man, he just hated him. This is like 25, 30 years ago. He just hated him. And but again, for good reason. Because if you deliver mail or deliver anything, it's like, yeah, you're constantly, you're not harassed by people's guinea pigs. It's always a dog, right?
It's always,
I mean,
and they're trying
yeah,
to come through the screen at you. It's too much.
like squirrels and rabbits. Rabbits. They're like a nuisance, but dogs are dangerous.
Well, but they don't squirrels don't run people down and attack them.
Yeah, they're annoying.
They're not even
not
annoying. It's
dangerous.
like, I see them in the yard and stuff. It's like they don't bother anybody. It's not even remotely the same thing. But yeah, like I said,
Oh,
it's
exactly.
very personal narrative.
I mean, it's
Hey,
like a dog is compared to a baboon. Like, imagine owning
not
a
even that.
baboon.
Look, just stop insulting baboons, okay? Like, well, the other thing too is like with that stuff, it's like, yeah, how many people have a pet baboon in your neighborhood? It's
Exactly.
probably zero, right?
I'm
I mean, how many mail
Similarity.
carriers? How many mail carriers get attacked by baboons in their daily route? I'm thinking it's probably like not very many, at least not in this country. Well, actually, it's interesting. They brought up was there was a case in Connecticut a while back where a pet chimp mauled somebody, and it tore a woman's face off, and they were just banned. Boom, gone.
Then Michael Jackson's making it popular.
I
right?
remember that.
Yeah, but like, boom, banned, gone,
Don't
gone.
Bubbles.
Yeah.
Don't stay away from Bubbles.
Yeah. But that's serious stuff, So anyway, yeah. So they, it's like boom, gone. But if it's a dog, it's okay. It's like, hey, he was just defending his territory. I wanted to shift gears a little and talk about in Britain they are banning.
Yay!
It's the XXL Bully ban. Now, what's funny about this is that, yeah, XL. Ooh, look at that! Look, isn't he handsome?
Pile.
Taking up, right? So a lot of it too is they talk about it. They're not banning anything. It's like owners taking up training classes and readiness for rules, requiring breed to be kept muzzled in public. It's like they're still going to be everywhere. Okay, has sword, breed would be banned. But, well, they say banned, but it's like banned how? Like, I don't think they're really not banning anything, So
Well,
bully muzzles.
They're playing word salad as usual.
Yeah.
They're not to cut you off. Basically, what they're going to do is we already know what's going to happen. It's going to happen like with any other bully breed. We're going to add another one to the list, and then they're going to mix it with something, and then they're going to say it's a mixed breed, and we're still going to keep it. So I mean, it's like and until you get rid of the bully breed itself, anything that has that gene or chromosome in it, then you're going to continue to have issues. And I've said this before that I've heard. I mean, not to, everyone listens to IHD. I give him his props. The brother is out there. But I said this long before. If you don't get rid of the dog in general, then you're not getting rid of the issue. All you're going to keep doing is patching it up.
Yeah.
None of these laws were designed to do anything but sugarcoat and put a Band-Aid on a well.
Yeah.
Basically what it is. You're putting a Band-Aid over the opening of a well because you know damn well it's not going to stop any water. You just put it there to say it's there. That's it.
Yeah, they'll just it'll just be like it'll be a Saint Bernard mix or a Presa Canario mix or something like that. Here's what was really funny about this, though. I wanted to bring this up. So obviously there's multiple protests planned, but the thinking was I don't know, like, they say I just a thought, I don't know whether people were bringing their THERE dogs to the protest. However, I heavily advise against it. There will be people trying to bait them to react, and it's not very stressful. It only takes one dog to react. So, and actually, initially, this protest, they have said don't bring dogs because they know if you get a bunch of these things in one place, this huge bloodbath is going to erupt. But what's interesting was that they modified this a little bit. So initially, and that's what's ironic, is that XL bullies are banned at a protest of XL bully bans.
Hypocritical.
So it's like, look, don't ban XL bullies, but just don't bring any here. Like we're banning them. We're banning them in protest of the ban, right? So, but they modified this, and this is I respect this because it was a really good propaganda move.
Mm-hmm.
So they modified this to say you can bring puppies 6 months and under. And I'm thinking, wow, that's actually a really good propaganda move. So just if they only bring puppies, that gives the impression, first of all, that the dogs are a lot smaller than they are. And it's going to be all over, television and social media. Everybody's going to be with their little puppies, and they're so cute. And of course, the puppies haven't pitted out yet, so they're not that aggressive. So you're not going to have a bloodbath, like nobody's going to be decapitated or anything like that. So it's actually a really good propaganda move. So it'll sort of give the impression that these are just these little, these tiny little snuggle bunnies that would never hurt anybody. So kudos to them. It's a good propaganda move.
Huge.
Sorry, go ahead. I was talking over you. What did you say?
A 6-month pit bull or a large bully breed dog. It's pretty big.
They usually don't. Well, that's why they said 6 months, because it's pretty unusual for them to pit out before that or up to that point. Usually it's like 12 months and up. I think like peak
trained to bite, right?
Peak pit out is about 18 to 24 months. So you bring the smaller puppies, you're unlikely. It'll look good. You got all these little puppies, and it's like, oh, man, they want to ban puppies. Oh, they're so cute. Who would want to ban puppies?
I do.
Yeah.
See, that is a very good point that you brought up, B.A.D, and I didn't think about that until you said it. Like, and then IHD said it too, but someone could constitute in their mind that a full-grown dog is a puppy. But with that being said, I mean, it's XL Bully. If it's 3 times as big as a regular pit bull, I mean, what the fuck? Yeah, a puppy's going to be like 90 pounds.
Imagine having a piranha as a pet. That's what puppies are.
But no, it's a good propaganda move by them because it's unlikely it'll have a bad outcome. So it'll make it look better. But the thing is, it's not the puppies because all these puppies are going to grow up to be XL bullies that can rip somebody to pieces. But it's like the optics are very good for them. So, kudos to them. It's a good propaganda move. But I don't know. So did you folks watch that Ian Price mauling video? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Which one is this? The one the kid got attacked by the XL bully that was barking and lunging at everybody at the little liquor
No,
store?
I posted one of the things that triggered this was there was a mauling in the UK recently. It was a man named Ian Price. And I think what happened was his mother was attacked in the backyard by these two dogs. So he goes out to help her, and they redirect onto him and they maul him to death. And it was on their property, I believe. They were a neighbor's dogs. And that's what prompted, and there'd been a lot of discussion about this, like restricting these things. And somebody they stood there and video recorded the whole thing on their phone.
Yeah, while they're not doing a goddamn thing.
They're not doing anything, right? I mean, I might set the phone down, but go. So they're recording this thing, and I'll get into the video itself in a minute. I don't want to share it because his family has asked people to not share it publicly. I did snag a copy, and it's available to insiders. So actually, if you go to, if you're a Discord member, you can go to the NSFW, the Not Safe for Work channel, and it's available there. You can watch it. Because it's interesting to dissect. It's good, sort of an interesting pathology. So yeah, they'd recorded this thing, and there's a few folks standing around, and some guy's hitting them with a
tiny stick.
Yeah, with a stick, and somebody else has an iron gate or something, and they're trying to, and I'm like, oh, and I know too, remember, it's a UK, they're, firearm restricted and all that stuff, but always strikes me about situations like this is that, people, they're not really doing much. It's somebody, a human being is literally being eaten alive right in front of you. Do something. And I guess perhaps folks they're not like us, they haven't they're not aware of the issue. They haven't really thought about it. But there's all kinds of things. It's whatever, drop a piano on the damn thing, it's whatever.
I'd go Bruce Lee on it.
But what I would do is, if you
went
can
silent for a second.
I don't want to show it. I don't want to show it on this video, but what I would do, you can picture both dogs are focused on the victim. They're gnawing away at him. I would, and something like this actually happened near me a while back. I would get the sharpest, meanest knife I could. And as a dog
Can you still hear me? I'm getting no audio.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
I'll reconnect.
No, I can hear you. You're good. So I would get in there, man. I would cut that dog's. Well, the dog is focused on the victim. I would just cut its throat. I would get in there with a knife and just cut good and deep and get all those arteries open. That attack's going to be over in a few
jugular.
seconds. Yeah, get that jugular. I don't know if the dogs have a jugular, but all those blood vessels in the neck. You get it. I butchered animals too. You get that, once that blood comes out, that blood pressure goes to zero, boom, they're out, right? And not only that, but they don't recover, because that's what's important too. So you get in there. So even if I had a gun within reach, I would do that knife first. I would cut that thing's throat, let it bleed out, then do the next one. And
especially if it's attacking a person.
If it's attacking a person, because sometimes you see, if it's attacking another dog, because that's a problem too, is if you use lethal force like that. And we've discussed that on here multiple times. Colleen and I discussed it the other day, is that,
well, if it's attacking dogs, then it's putting out its other misery.
Yeah, well, these animals are protected right? So you got to watch. You do something like that, you can get clipped with like an animal cruelty charge. But
Prison.
if somebody's if it's attacking another person, particularly if it's you and yours, like your kid or something, just kill the damn thing. Like I said, get in there. Even if you have a gun within reach, you got to be careful. Get in there with a knife, cut that throat open, let that fucking thing bleed out. Because you get those arteries open, that thing is going to be on the ground. It's going to go down, and it's not going to get up.
You see something happening like that in your neighborhood, what are you going to do? Record it with the phone, or are you going to grab the knife and? Ugh.
Yeah, but like I said, go for the neck. The neck. Go for the neck.
My phone cut out on me, and I didn't hear partially what you guys said. I had to reconnect the call. But I was trying to say earlier that in one of IHD's voice chats, I mean, not voice chats, or one of his live chats, and I really believe it was him. This guy got in the chat and said he was the dude that was banging on the fence with the baseball bat when that lady was getting mauled by the two Rottweilers.
Oh, really?
Saying really sound like he was them, like the dude that was there. But he said, I really couldn't do anything. I was beating the fence. I feel like everybody's blaming me, but I still love dogs, and I especially love Rotties.
And why do they always have to stick that in there? I was like, oh yeah, it's like like dogs are terrorizing my neighborhood, but yeah, I really love dogs. It's like, why even why do they always have to say that? Ugh.
And then he got kicked out of the room. Yeah, because it was like, oh no, dude, you're a troll. Bye. And they threw him out. And I was just like, oh, okay. And Asher jumped in. I was like, I was actually conversing with him. I think we could have got through to the dude, but I got overran by the vote. I mean, kick him out. I couldn't do anything. But yeah, it's really odd. Like these people, like you said, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't understand. Like, you see a lady being brutally mauled by two dogs. There's two of you. You got a baseball bat. Jump over there, put in some work. Don't just sit there and scream and yell. And all they did was drag to the other side, but they weren't disturbed.
Yeah. I think it's a bit complicated, and there's a lot to unpack because you see these things or hear about them. You're thinking, why don't people do more? And I think there's probably three things that I can think of off the top of my head. One is they're afraid for their safety, right? They're thinking the dog might redirect onto them. Two, like I was saying, they're afraid of authorities. So even like I said, too, it's like, if you, really get in there, you kill that attacking dog with whatever means are available. These things are protected. You get a DA who likes to cater to nutter interests. They could just prosecute you. Even if what you did, even if you had statutory authorization to do what you did, they may just jack you up anyway, because the process.
I don't know about that.
They're like, no, they're gonna get you, you evil dog hater, right? And the other thing too is, people have been, brainwashed forever to, see these things. They're all perfect fur angels sent from heaven. And you don't want to hurt one of them, do you? So you have this really toxic sort of, mix of issues that create these outcomes. I was like, if you got a bat is good, man. You hit that thing, and part of it too, you remember the dog is attacking a human victim. So you want to avoid injuring the victim further, because a lot of times they'll see them, they're like pulling on the attacking dog. Don't pull on it. That's like the worst thing you can do, because all you're doing is making that wound worse. Hit that thing like in its back, just like bam, like you're trying to, like, imagine you're splitting firewood, just bam, hit that thing as hard as you can. But I think really
use your arms and choke it the fuck out.
Yeah, they could do that too. I'd related a story.
You know how much rage I got pent up?
Yeah, particularly But yeah, if you get it, I mean, if you know how to do it, like a chokehold, the problem with that, you choke it out until it passes out, but unless you really hold on for a couple of minutes, it's going to recover, right? That's why I'm really into. I mean, a gun is fine, but that would be like plan B. If it's attacking someone else, and if I had a sharp implement, I mean, you can get like these box cutters at like say Harbor Freight, right? So let's take a look at
It's been a
yeah, you get
staple in
these
New
things.
York.
These things are cheap, right? It's like I got a bunch of these. They're like good for everything, right? So it's like box cutter. And I want a
Tires,
box cutter,
other stuff.
right? Here's what you need. Yeah, these things. Yeah, look at this. Those are. Oh, get these. I got a bunch of these. Like, look at this. Like large blade. This thing's $2.29. These things are
My
sharp,
hands are
and you
lethal
can you can and
weapons.
you can extend that blade like way out.
Yeah.
You get in there with something like this, you cut this thing's throat, man, that thing is going down. Now I'm thinking, okay, this video is going to be taken offline, but I'm saying, only do it if it's attacking another person or you perhaps. But you get in there, I butchered animals. You get those neck arteries open, that thing's going to be out fast, and it's not going to recover, which is also important. But yeah, that video was really disturbing. And now they're talking about, banning them, but it's like, ban them how? What are they just gonna like? They're not just gonna exterminate them all. That's not gonna happen. So
You know what? I figured it out what they're doing. And I don't know why anybody else has seen it until now. We'll call it my epiphany for the day. They're banning the names.
yep,
They're not banning any breeds. They're banning the name of the dog. So
yep,
if you come up and you got a Bully XL and you go, well, his name is Rufus. He's not a Bully XL. He's a mixed breed. Okay.
yep.
And you walk in the door. That's exactly what they're doing. All they're doing is the name. That's why they refuse to say it's AKC or anything, or it's not a breed, because if you identify it as a breed by the name, then you can identify it by visually like we already do. But in another society, they don't see it that way. It's got to be registered. It's got to have a paper, and you got to go to the vet and say, my dog is AKC registered as an XL Bully. Well,
Yeah.
it's not. It's never going to be. So that a dog's never fully going to be banned.
Right. Well, because you're right. It's all about labels, right? Like if I take a Yugo and like glue like a Mercedes emblem to the hood, is that a Mercedes? Like, no, but that's what they do here. They say, oh yeah, it's like it's a border collie mix or whatever like crap they could come up with. So, and there's always going to be arguments about it because there's so many borderline cases. It just needs to be done by, I know, like many people say, let's ban them all, but
Yeah, I know.
yeah, but
It's impossible.
I want to be the
I mean,
first
maybe
man.
in the year 2058 it'll be banned.
Yeah, I want to be the first man on Neptune. But
Would never be that, and it's here. So we can pump our brakes on saying never. Like my man Mo said, say never, because you know you're not right. Because say never, you just said never twice. I don't accept defeat in anyone. Like my man also said, and even in a defeat, I see that as a victory as well. I'm not going to take it. One day we're going to eradicate all these beasts. They weren't here before. They weren't running around rampant before. When we were all younger, we're in the same peer group. We knew maybe one or two families that had dogs. What was the shift? It wasn't just Michael Vick. It was these people with their mental indeficiencies. Once we cure
Lonely
mental
people.
indeficiencies, we'll get rid of dogs. Exactly. That's what it is. Because they keep humanizing and talking to them. And like I was trying to talk to my nephew today, he's 15. I was like, they don't understand you. We can call dogs stupid and dumb all they don't know. They don't have feelings. They don't talk. They don't understand anything. So why are we trying to emphasize that we believe that they can? I can believe that
You're
I can
right.
blow flames out of my behind, but I cannot. I don't have dragon butt. So let's not come up with fallacies. Real.
That's too funny. Yeah. But, but you look at these things, it's like, yeah, it's like, well, this one, he doesn't really have the, like Colleen and I were talking about the other day. She mentioned, it's a phenotype. It's the bully dogs, the butt heads. This one doesn't have much of a butt head. Let me take a look at some.
Head.
Yeah, it's like, what was it? What was the name of that dog? Yeah, like, oh, look at this. Yeah, look at this thing over here on the right. Like,
Look
what a
at the
revolting
thing.
butthead. Like, it's not only like it's actually casting a shadow. That's the crack in this thing's head. It is. It's a total butthead. It
It's
really
a
is.
devil in physical incarnate. It's the fucking devil
It's like a
in physical form.
You
More
see this thing?
venison.
Look at this thing here. Look at this. Look at the crack in its head.
Ugh.
I mean, they are. They are literal butt heads.
What an
This one
idiotic thing
here,
to
that
have.
was too
Busted.
much. This one, oh, and those two dogs that the two dogs that killed.
Ugh.
Yeah, these two, the Bernard kids. Where are those two?
Oh,
Yeah, these two. Oh, where are those two?
fuck's
There's another
sake.
photo on here. Yeah, these are those two dogs that killed those two kids last year. Yeah, friggin' butthead. Oh, this was a photo. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the crack in this thing's head. Look at this. It's casting. It's so big that
But
it's got that butt crack is so big. It's actually casting a shadow. I mean, that sounds like a good criteria. Like, look at this thing. So yeah, it's like, what a butthead.
it's got that white stripe on it.
Yeah, it's got a white patch here, but you can see the light, like it's actually casting a shadow. Like, that's how deep the crack is.
Oh yeah, the mouth.
The crackhead.
Ugh. Look at that
Ugh.
thing. Just look at it and imagine wanting to have them.
Yeah, particularly
Fucking blows my mind.
in a home
Look
with
at
two
that
little
thing.
kids. In a home with
Yeah.
two little kids.
Oh,
But
fuck are these parents doing?
yeah, well, they did, they did okay. They had a GoFundMe. They had multiple
Oh yeah,
GoFundMes that
GoFundMe,
raised
of course.
hundreds of thousands of dollars. They
Typical.
did pretty well for themselves.
Yeah, I'm sure they did.
Yeah, no, they did. They did, in fact, do so. And that goes back to the double standards here, because if anything else had done that, they'd be in prison right now. But it was the dogs. It was like, oh, you poor people. You not only lost your two children, but your two wonderful dogs. It's like,
And are they still dog lovers?
that's a good, they've dropped off the grid. I know, like, the dad
Shocking.
at least was a big, because he'd put up like stuff like, as he knew about the controversy. They were not ignorant about the controversy or the danger posed by these things. They knew. And he'd posted some, what was his name? What was his name? Colby Bernard.
Ugh, look at that thing.
Because he posted something to his Facebook page. Oh, this is it, right?
Oh, for
This
fuck's
was,
sake.
I can assure you, because he knew about the controversy and the politics surrounding these dogs. He's like, I can assure you, nobody will take Cheech and Mia from myself and, Kirsty, the wife. Ignorance is no excuse to take so many best friends out of this world. Well, best friends, like what, his two kids? because he wound up losing everything. He lost both kids and both dogs got euthanized. Like, was that a good
The
outcome?
life to live. What a great life.
Yeah. I mean, was that a good outcome? I mean, with all that, like, did this like somehow work out for everybody? I don't
Back to
think
the
so.
common sense thing.
Well, I told you,
You know.
nobody will take. I guess I believe they surrendered the dogs to get put down, but you can see this because you got the the little kid hugging the dog, and it's also happy and everything. But that's but he knew, because this is in response to probably people telling him that, like, look, these dogs might not be super safe to have around kids, and the politics surrounding these dogs in the home and the community. I tell you.
Politics.
Yeah.
Hollywood. Let's talk about brainwashing in Hollywood and how these movies and cartoons trick children and the elderly into loving dogs for no reason.
Well, actually, some of the bad behavior is actually seen as being virtuous or good somehow. Not necessarily this bad, like not like ripping baby boys in half or anything, but wrecking the house, pooping on the floor, things like that. So, B.A.D, how are things by you? How's the is a neighbor still releasing the cloud of death? How's that looking these days?
That's pretty bad. I don't want to say this, but you know what? She tried to park her car and hit the other neighbor's car. It's like, whoa. How are you gonna hit a parked car while trying to park? She was going like 2 miles an hour and she fucking crunched that plastic car.
Okay, so she actually hit another, but well, I guess yeah, it doesn't sound like they're the most got it together people. But the backyard, you should put out another video. Give everyone an update on the lay of the land there. It's like, is it still like oozing like toxic crap?
I had to deal with a lot of flies today.
A lot of flies.
Sure.
Yeah. The poop pals haven't been over lately.
Probably why they probably refuse to do it. They're like, this is out of scope. It's like the worst thing ever.
I don't get paid enough for this shit.
Yeah, we don't get paid enough to deal with it.
It's your own mutt. You feed it. Pick up its shit.
Yep. Well, I think it's not just that, but it's even they're pissing back there. So you have gallons every day. You have gallons of dog urine being dumped in this small patch of dirt. It can't support it. This is why we zone out farm animals. This is why we zone out farm animals from neighborhoods like that. If they had a backyard full of goats, they'd probably be code enforcement would probably tell them to get rid of them. But
I'd rather have pigs back. Oh, wait. There's 2 pigs and 4 dogs. Okay, wait.
Probably, if they did that, they'd probably tell them to get rid of the pigs. But
get it? Fat joke.
Yeah. Well, but the thing is, pigs are zoned out farm animals, but you can have all these dogs. Crazy.
I know,
like
right?
pigs.
Anyway, I know we're an hour in. I kind of want to just do a short one today, but do either of you guys have another topic?
Besides dogs going in volcanoes and my petition for that, no.
We need to find some place, maybe Hawaii or where do we have an active volcano in the United States right now?
Yellowstone. Hello.
Well, yeah, you got that. I mean, it's volcanic activity, and you get the boiling springs. Oh, most of the time, though, you don't need to throw the dogs in; they just jump in by themselves. You just got to bring them there. And not only that, but wasn't that came up because a dog would jump in and get boiled to death, and the owner would jump in after him, and they would also get boiled to death.
Chef
So
did that. Chef had the 10 dumbest, something about the 10 dumbest dog people, and the dog in water jumped in, and the dog owner didn't want to. And then somebody or a hiker goes, "I wouldn't jump in that," and the guy goes, "Like hell, I will." And he jumped in.
Yeah,
And
he
his
jumped right in.
got oiled. He jumped in head first.
uh,
98-degree water cooked his ass.
uh,
And
Coming
then
off
the
his
that's
superstar
boiling. I mean, that's
writer made a
almost like
video.
it's over 200 degrees Fahrenheit, that water. I mean, that's, you imagine the
Perhaps more
pain.
than that.
Ugh. But that just shows like how like dumb, it's why I'm not a hike leader anymore. These dumbass dog people can't leash their dogs when they're on the trail. Like, why is that so difficult? The woods, the natural world is full of things that'll kill them. Don't let them run. You'd think even from an animal welfare standpoint, it would be a good idea to either, if not leash the dogs, even just keep them out of these places. But these dog nutters insist on doing it.
They got to bring them everywhere. So
Yeah,
they
they
suffer.
do.
And a leash is supposed to protect.
The leash should protect everybody, but they think it's a bad idea.
Mm. Leash is bullshit. It's dog shit.
Anyway, I think I'm going to wrap it up, guys. I gotta get going. So thanks for joining.
No worries.
Where are we here? I'm right here. Yeah. Thanks for joining. Xanimal in Control. As always, people first.
Mm-hmm.
Catch you later,
IMJ by
guys.
you.
Yep, I'll be talking to you soon.
Yeah.
Later,
Take care.
guys. Bye.